We were sat in the cafeteria, me and my three droogs. That was myself, Randy, Anna, and Scum, so named because of his general attitude and unsavory appearance. I was prodding a mushy pile of food on my tray. It was a dark, gray, formless thing with bits of greenish yellow intermixed. In the background, I could hear loud, distant screaming and what sounded like muffled shouting over a radio. Randy, as usual, was wearing his tinfoil hat to keep out communist mind control rays. Anna was lightly flipping through a collection of Ayn Rand essays, and Scum was probably jerking off under the table.
Hands off, peasant.
Anna snaps as Scum tries to sneak some of her food. You aren't even eating it, I remark.
I'm not eating this filth, you cretin. But I don't want Scum having it either.
Scum then grabs a handful of it and shoves it in his greasy face.
Ah, you bastard. You unbelievable.
He smiles, food spilling from his mouth as he chews. Anna scowls and returns to reading. Randy, who is watching with wide eyes, begins nervously darting his head around like a cautious meerkat. This is his default state. I've never seen anyone touch him during this, and I have no idea what would happen if you were to do so. And I'm stuck in the midst of this. My name is Roland, and I suppose that in many respects I'm worse than all of them. And I'm the most outwardly normal. I was cursed with the uncontrollable urge to set things aflame. I am at this point a notorious and undiscovered serial arsonist. It's not an easy thing to reconcile, but I'm really not a bad person. I don't want to be. And as much as I want to see it all engulfed in flame, I sit quietly, twitching in front of this obscene facsimile of a meal. I slide it towards Scum, playing with a lighter under the table. Randy appears to be sifting through his food for computer chips or some such. And the bell rings, and we mercifully part ways. And as school ends, we go our separate ways, not able to stomach each other elsewhere. We're only friends out of necessity. It's raining hard outside. It's a long walk home. I sit, waiting for the bus. As the school is right in the inner city, in a now quite downtrodden neighborhood, I end up taking the city bus. I sit down. It's crowded, and I end up sitting next to a hairy bearded man in a swimming suit, and a massive beast of a woman in a God Makes No Mistakes t-shirt, stretched to the point that the letters are in quite wide print. Her child is running around the bus, screeching like a castrated banshee. She fruitlessly waves a cane in his general direction, shouting, "Get back here, you little shit." As the bus reaches my stop, she manages to hit him, leaving him on the floor in a blood pool. I step over him. Getting back to my house, Father looks at me, beaming. "Hey, you still needed a new computer, right?" "Yes." "Well, I got you one. It's old, but it should work. A coworker was giving it away." "Oh, great, thanks. We'll move into your room when you get back." I nod, throwing on my uniform, and get going to work at the nearby Clowny Burger. It was in the middle of flipping burgers, Scum shows up. He, unfortunately, very recently attained employment here, and he soon began jerking off into some kid's clowny meal, making some half-thought-out secret sauce joke. I turn back to the grill, and I see flames. And they tear away and simmer the meat. Oh, they take in that cheap meat in a glorious flare that should rightly burn free, all-consuming, raging like the beating heart of impassioned lovers. Oh God, I need to start a fire. The feeling overtook me. I start flicking at my lighter like mad. I sweat profusely, getting dizzy, and then I see Scum get his uniform singed while he's not careful. I immediately run out, shouting, "Cover me!" I get outside, running through the city rain in the now darkening streets, following the neon lights and lit offices. I reach a neighborhood. It's a rough one, but I drift deeper into its labyrinth of decay and poor living, and at last I see it, uncut lawn standing tall. It's a one-story hovel with a small kid swimming pool filled with lawn flamingos. It's at the end of the street, and judging by what I passed to get here, I don't think anyone will notice. I kick in the window to see a fat man in a mustard-stained wife-beater. "Huh? What?" he shouts, getting up. I thrust all my weight on him, pushing him back on the couch. Before he can hit me, I reveal a small knife and slit his massive throat. I check each room and find them long empty, and begin to prepare it, turning his oven on and swinging open its door. I steal some gasoline from his garage and set it aflame, watching from a gleeful distance. Oh, what release. I hate when they're home, though. Such a waste. Like I said, I'm not a monster. I hate seeing death, especially unnecessary ones. The next day, I get to school. Scum is wearing his Pighead t-shirt, a punk band we're both fond of. Nice shirt, I remark. Where did you run off to? I silently wave the lighter at him, shrugging. He laughs. Nice going, Human Torch. Scum is really the only one who knows, because God knows he's been up to worse. For my birthday, after he found out, he set my cat on fire and left it on my bed because he thought I'd appreciate it. So the day goes on as per usual. Yeah, I had mentioned my new computer. It's too bad I couldn't get myself a better one, but it's not like I have a lot of money.
You would if you worked harder.
Yeah, okay.
When you complain like that, you're no better than the entitled homeless person.
I trust the homeless more than any, Randy chimes in with eyes concerningly wide. They're the least likely to be reptiles. Unless that's just to throw me off.
Maybe you are a reptilian and just a sleeper agent.
He bites his lower lip. I've looked into that, he says, looking off as though deep in contemplation. He scratches under his hat and starts writing something on his arm. I finally get home, now able to try the new computer. I get into my room. It's small, dark, and cramped, and most of the light I get comes from the city, from out my window. My walls are lined with all the posters I've accumulated, and more wires on the floor than carpet. And sitting on my desk, next to a Bible Man action figure, is this ancient box of a monitor. The new computer, finally hooked. I sit at it, turning it on. It slowly whirs to life, making loud groaning noises. The screen flickers a myriad of dimmed colors before opening me up to a black input screen. Insert name. I typed Roland. Start. I typed yes. It starts with no desktop background, but two folders, one labeled Games and the other Do Not Open. I assume the latter is either a joke or porn or a joke porn. Instinctively, I open it. It's empty. Disappointed, I open Games. There's one option, an EXE with no icon called Hell. It opens a full-screen game of a happy, bright world that appears to have been made in MS Paint by a small child. I control a chunky, smiling man who can simply walk right and jump. After a few minutes, you reach a mirror version of him with a frowny face. You jump on its head, and a screen reading, "You are win," comes up. Then the game closes, and a picture has been added to the folder. It's called Fuck You, Dick. I told you not to open it. I open the picture. It's a crude photo of a mustachioed man who was hanging from a noose. He was flipping off the camera and scowling. Little surprised, I exit it. I hate seeing death. I get up and ask my father who it came from when he got it. Oh, Dave gave it to me. He wasn't in today. Why? Did he modify it in any way? He just said it was old and he didn't need it anymore. Oh, alright. It was just a little slow, I lie. Well, it is old, you dingus, he says, sitting down to eat. I return to the machine. There appears to be something in the Do Not Open folder. Last updated, now. It contains an unnamed executable file. Before clicking it, I search around his computer. What I find is his search history, which tells a bit of a story. It appears as though, for whatever reason, he was trying to modify the computer with some obscure program called Corruptor. He evidently switched to working in the deep web for a while, so I couldn't trace all of it. Regardless, I was fascinated. I had no idea what Corruptor was, but I wanted to. I clicked out, ready for bed, only to find the background had become a crude drawing of a purple face with a big, round, dark green nose. I shut it down and go to bed. I'm awoken by the sound of my phone going off. I pick it up, half awake, to find the caller ID displaying a series of corrupted characters. Curious, I answer it. It's silent at first, but then it abruptly cuts into the eerie singing of children. I could hear wind making me think it was being recorded outside. I hang up and go to sleep. Getting up, I step in something wet. I look down. It's blood. A trail of it leading to the computer monitor. It appears as though it had been bleeding. As concerning as this was, I had school to attend. I grab a waffle and shove it in my mouth, running out the door and getting on the bus. I feel a strange sensation in my mouth. The waffle was writhing with maggots. I spit it out on the floor of the bus. A man shooting up heroin in the tip of his flaccid, collapsed penis, remarking, "Gross, man." Arriving now. I mention the computer in passing. "Far out," Scum says. Randy only stares. Did you say the corruptor?" "Yes." Oh no. Do you have any idea what that is? It's a program that turns your computer into a conduit between our world and that of the Dread Ones. No one who's attempted to run it has ever survived. I know a guy who tried. Drove him to madness. Wow, you really know your stuff. You have to destroy that computer. Yeah, okay. Then the conversation continued as normal. And so I returned home, went to work, and returned once more. I was somewhat concerned to find both my parents home. They were waiting motionless in the living room. Their eyes were solid black, and they spoke in unison. "Son, you must go to your computer." "Excuse me?" "You must run corruptor.exe. "Why? It sounds like a good time." "Where did you hear about it?" "We were on the internet." "Oh, okay." I nod, heading to my room. The monitor appears to be pulsating in such a manner as to suggest breathing. Confused, I turn it on and run the only file now on the desktop, corruptor.exe. Suddenly, the screen displays a vast alien city, empty and cavernous. It's like a screensaver, but it won't go away. It becomes most apparent that something is wrong when I look around to see that the sky is turned red and birds are flying backwards. Perhaps this wasn't just a computer virus after all. Either way, I'm tired, so I head to bed. The next day, unearthly spawn of the dread gods of old are crawling around my floor. I swipe them off with a broom and head off to school. The bus has crashed into the side of my apartment, and ghouls are crawling along the side of it, feeding on the passengers, both dead and injured. Great, I have to walk, I mutter under my breath, walking the length to school. Most people aren't around today, to my surprise. The teacher begins to write in a strange language on the chalkboard before sitting down and shooting himself. Shocked, I look over to my friends. They all seem a little shaken. Randy's mouth is agape. "Hey, so I ran that computer program last night." "You what?" Randy shouts. "Don't tell me you're a reptilian or a Freemason or something, or God forbid, some kind of Jesuit spy. Nobody would doom us like that out of incompetence." "Oh, come on, it's not that bad." "Yes, it is, Roland. The world is falling apart." "Well, then let's go sort it out. Come on, you can help me get it off." We leave the school, and the sky is, once again, gray and foggy. To avoid the massive, towering, thin figures roaming the streets and incinerating people, we cut across the old train tracks, the parking lot of a huge department store. This part of town is a sea of urban decay, peaked with a few tall concrete structures and malls. We're standing next to the rudder remains of a train long past its prime. Engulfed in the fog overhead, we see the vast parking lot. That and the roaming hordes of ancient entities drifting into our world and chasing whom they can. They look like gray, thin people with no genitals, often lacking certain limbs, and are predominantly faceless save two small black eyes sunken into their heads. We start to walk, but a massive horde of them rushes after us. We run into a Clowny Burger connected to the department store and barricade the doors with tables. We then turn to see the restaurant mascot, Clowny, is growing out of the sign and becoming a massive organic thing. "I'm gonna get ya!" it cries, descending upon us. Without thinking, Scum smashes his head into the window, separating the restaurant from the store so we can all jump through. The clown follows close behind us, becoming a mass of flesh, stretching from the floor to the ceiling, laughing maniacally. Former employees try to grab us, but Anna and Randy grab tools from the construction section, fending off against them. I run, hoping to find an exit. Monsters are closing in from all sides, and then I see it. Canisters of gasoline. So very many of them. I grab them and immediately begin dousing the place, running past the things, past Anna and Scum fighting off the Clown King, and burst out the front window as I lay my open lighter to the trail as it erupts in flames. We flee the scene, the wails of the Clown King echoing behind us. "We'll never make it to your house, Roland, but my apartment building is just by the tracks. If we can get in, we can get access to my equipment. I've prepared for this day." And so we traveled to his apartment, the flickering lights creating a haunting atmosphere. A masked figure prowls the halls after us, alongside a horde of tall, slender gray things. We manage to get through them and get to Randy's room. It's full of all manner of strange contraptions. We grab things from all over, and he hands them to us. UFO spray, holy water and a crossbow, an X-Files DVD set, a Metaluna mutant bobblehead, a VHS copy of Kazam starring Shaquille O'Neal, and a pair of X-ray glasses.
Randy, basically, only the crossbow is of any use to us.
Anna remarks grimly. You never know, he replies, tightly gripping the UFO repellent against his chest. We manage to brave the horrific streets, eventually reaching my house. My parents are crawling and hissing on the ceiling, but flee when they see Kazam. We reach the computer, which is opened up and become a tangled web of horrors from another world. A small purple doll levitates in the center of the room, screeching. What do we do? Randy shouts. I stroll over the computer and press Ctrl-Alt-Delete. I end the program and everything goes back to normal. Well, gang, that was quite an adventure, I say, at which point my computer explodes and we all die.